Show. This is the Big O 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 Show.
Alrighty, yes sir, good morning and welcome aboard. We are ready to rock and roll on a beautiful Friday morning. We are coming to you live from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, like we are every Friday out here from 9 to 11, so come on out and join us. We got all kinds of stuff going on and all kinds of people to talk to throughout the day today. Yes.
You call this beautiful Friday?
Yes, it is a beautiful Friday. I'm alive. Okay, when you got five stents in your heart, when you got 5 stents in your heart, and you're just coming off a kidney stone and gout attack last week, and my leg is still kind of recovering, I'm up, bro. Every day is a blessing. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care about the clouds. It's always sunny in my world. All right? If I wake up and I got another day to enjoy, I'm doing good, man. So I thank the good Lord above that we get to enjoy another day in this beautiful earth. Anyway, we are at the beautiful dealership that is Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines. Like we are every Friday, come on out and get a great deal on an automobile. We're over here on the other side where the certified pre-owned vehicles are at, and they look outstanding. So if you happen to be in the Pembroke Pines area, come on by and say hi. We'll be out here for a little while. Anyway, yesterday, let's go over some of the local stuff. Last night, the Panthers lose to the Bruins in overtime, 2-1. Their fourth loss in a row, eighth straight home loss. Dreger ended up starting between the pipes, not Bob. Not that it really mattered anyway, but this team is, and I don't know why I watched it last night. Like I've been telling you for a while now that the season's been over for 2 months now. I gave up on this season 2 months ago. Although I do laugh, like when you hear or you read or whatever, and people say, "Well, this is a big game tonight," and it's like, I keep telling you, the Panthers cannot play in a big game. They're not worthy of being called big games because it's just not it. And the fact that people even consider talking about playoffs, like these guys could actually make an impact in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? They're a joke. Really, they're a joke. That's exactly what this group of players has to look. They should all look in the mirror and say that they're a joke, because that's what they are. And there's no bigger joke than Dale Talon. Dale Talon's the biggest joke that there is. I got to say this. Dale Talon may be the most overrated executive that they've ever hired in South Florida sports history. Parcells was pretty much overrated, but Parcells never really came in to try. He was kind of half-assed in a way. So the results...
He was at the Aqueduct, right?
Yeah, he was where he normally is, in Saratoga is what you want to say. But he wasn't here. So you kind of got what you're supposed to get. Like when Phil Jackson's in Utah running the Knicks. Same thing. Like Phil's not around, so what do you expect? And same thing with Parcells. So that one I can't even go with. And, I could go back to Jimmy and Saban, but at least Jimmy made the playoffs 3 out of 4 years. Didn't Saban make the playoffs 1 out of 2 years? Didn't he? With Gus Frerotte, or he won 9 games with Gus Frerotte. Is that what it is? Not the playoffs, but they won 9 games with Gus Frerotte. Something like that. And he was only here for 2 years. But Dale Talon's been here for 10 years. And this is what he provides for 10 years. I mean, there is no more overrated executive in the history of South Florida sports than Dale Talon. I mean, this guy is an enormous disappointment, because you have to now start to look at his body of work here. I don't care what he did in Chicago. And last night was a perfect example when Barkov gets that breakaway. And what have I been telling you for about a year now? I've been telling you this. Since the end of last season and all the way through the offseason and all the way through this season, if Barkov is your best player, you're not good enough. That's all. I know he's a hell of a talent. I know he's a hell of a two-way player, but he ain't a dog. I've been saying that for a while now. And let me tell you something. Outside of the Northwestern class that came to the University of Miami football team, you know who I'm talking about, right? Spence and all those guys. I'm even forgetting some of their names now. What was the quarterback that threw loaves of bread? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. That whole group of Northwestern players that was coming to the University of Miami, and Randy Shannon had recruited them, and they were going to take off, and they were all Darius. It was like a really cool name, a wide receiver. What was his name? Darius something, and he sucked ass also. But anyway, they came in with like the most hype ever, right? And it was one of the worst recruiting classes of all time. I got to tell you something. Barkov, Huberdeau, Ekblad, and Trocheck. Because that's kind of considered, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the Mount Rushmore of Dale Talon, correct? That was his 4 featured draft picks. Am I wrong here? Those are the guys that supposedly he drafted and he put on this team to be the centerpiece of the team. Is there a more overrated group with those guys compared to the Northwestern kids? I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of, like, in the history of South Florida sports, a group of players that have underachieved more than anybody else. And I want Barkov and Huberdeau. And I know Trocheck got traded and he's not here, but he's part of this. Just because he hasn't been here for a couple of games doesn't mean squat to me, okay? And I like Trocheck personally, but because he's a feisty dude. But overall, that forced him, because I got to throw Ekblad in there too. What have they done, man? Who are those guys? And all the more reason why Dale Talon needs to be fired. And I know you got to come here to listen to this, because obviously on 560 and 790, they're going to have skirts on and they can't say these kind of things. You know, because they'll have little Len Weiner in there. Hey, they're our partner. We don't want to fire anybody. We'll just fire you when we don't need you. Anyway, so that kind of stuff. So I get that you can't, radio with a skirt is what you get normally from corporate radio. You're not going to get that here, okay? And I'm a huge fan of the owners. Love Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu. I think they're excellent owners, but they've got bamboozled, just like Wayne Huizenga when he hired Jimmy, when he hired Saban, and when he hired Parcells. And I never blamed Huizenga for that, because I would have hired all 3 of those guys, and I would have hired Dale Talon too, coming off of what he did in Chicago. But you got to draw the line in the sand at one point already. We have to come to the realization that whatever Dale Talon accomplished in Chicago, he'll never accomplish here. He's had a decade. And the best he can come up with is 4 guys that have no balls, can't accomplish squat, and whenever you put those 4 guys in a key situation, in a key moment, they fold up like a cheap tent. And that Barkov breakaway last night was a perfect example, and it's exactly how you identify Ekblad, Barkov, Huberdeau, and Trocheck. Failures. Soft. Not real stars. We can manufacture all this crap and talk about what you think they might be, but when it comes to putting your big boy pants on and performing in the big moments, year in and year out, those guys are failures. That's it. We could get into the goaltending from the guy they're going to retire tomorrow that was, completely up and down throughout his career here. Okay, yeah, he had his moments at times, but please, it's not the Luongo that, they got in Vancouver, let's say. They got a better version there. The older version you got here was, whatever. And you can talk about Bob and everybody else, Reimer, and I don't care who else you want to talk about over the years. We haven't had a goalie since Beezer. Let's just call it like we see it. Because that team that couldn't score with a fistful of dollars in a whorehouse had more balls, more character, more fight than anything Trocheck, Huberdeau, Ekblad, and Barkov have ever shown me. Seriously. Ja'Cory Harris, Aldarius Johnson, I think it was, right? Now they're Spence. They were the most overrated group of athletes to go to a team in the history of South Florida sports. I just want to tell Ekblad, okay? I just want to tell Huberdeau, I want to tell Trocheck, wherever you're at right now, and Barkov, you guys now own that crown. It's all yours, man. It's all yours. We can go back to the old rap song, It's Yours. Well, it's all yours. That's it. You guys are right on top of the throne, and you own it, baby. Yeah. Barkov, my man, take pride in it, bro. Yeah, you guys have never accomplished anything on the ice, but you actually have now accomplished something. You are the biggest bunch of underachievers in the history of South Florida sports. How do you like them apples? So we got the most overrated GM in the history of South Florida sports in Dale freaking Talon. And he brought a group of players that, boy, I mean, we got them hyped to hell. And I don't know about you, but I knew Barkov wasn't scoring last night. I knew he was going to get Spicoli stoned, just in case, if I need to put it, together for you. Okay? I knew it. Did you feel like he was going to score last night? Honestly?
I was hoping, man.
Right. You see what I mean?
I was hoping.
See?
Yeah.
That means you were defeated. That means you were defeated. Right there.
There's not that initial we're going to do this.
No.
I hope. I pray.
Ricky Williams breaks out in the open field. There's a linebacker between him and the end zone. What happens? It's a touchdown, right? Guaranteed.
Ricky Williams? Yeah.
Right. Zonka. Between him and two guys in the end zone. What is it?
He's getting called for a personal foul for nailing him.
Right. Yes. And he scores. It's Marino. There's 20 seconds left. He's at his own 45. What happens?
Irving Fryer.
Touchdown. You see what I'm saying? I saw Barkov break away, and I knew he wasn't scoring. He could do all this fancy stuff and all that other crap. Nothing. I just hope they take pride in owning it as being the most overrated, the most underachieving group of players in the history of South Florida sports. South Florida pro sports, basically pro sports, started in 1966 with the Miami Dolphins. From 1966 to now in 2020, all of the different pro teams we've had here and the current ones we do have, nobody has underachieved more than those guys right there. So, take pride, guys. You professionally suck. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. And let me tell you something. you got to clean house this offseason if you're the ownership group. You got to clean house because you got a hell of a coach in Joel Quenneville. So you got to go find yourself a GM with Joel, and then you've got to get rid of players. Whether it's Barkov or Huberdeau or Ekblad or whatever, get rid of a combination of them. They're not the answer. Go find guys that got some balls. Go find some guys that got some toughness. I mean, Stillman yesterday. This guy, Dale Talon, can't even recruit players that can win fights. Forget games. And I get it. You know, Frank Ford had a great point on Twitter last night. We were going back and forth on it, and he goes, oh, come on, man. He was giving up, several pounds. And it's true. True, Stillman was taking on a bigger guy, but he got his ass kicked. You want to have pride. You want to cheer. And you know what? I'm an idiot. I got to tell you, I'm just a moron. I am. Why am I watching? I know what the end result is. I know on the breakaway, I had no emotion whatsoever. It's really funny because I see the breakaway and I'm sitting there, and normally you would get up all right, yeah.
Here we go.
And I was just sitting back going, he's going to screw it up. Because that's what Barkov does. It's not the guy. It's not the guy. And Ekblad is not this incredible defenseman you planned for him to be. I mean, it's just, and that's why changes across the board. You remember what I said about the Miami Dolphins for the last 10 to 15 years? I would say closer to 15. Okay? It was 2 words. Organizational enema.
I was just going to say.
Okay? That. I said organizational enema for years. And finally, Chris Greer came in with the Fleet and had the organizational enema. Fleet, by the way, is the name of that brand that people use for enema. Anyway, so it is time now to whip out the Fleet for the Florida Panthers.
Insert.
Yeah, because
and drop.
You have to remember, Viner, the prior owner, is the one that hired Talon. Now, Viner and his group did not have the money to support Talon. Then in comes Viola Sifu, and I believe it was year 4 of Talon's tenure that they took over. I believe it's something like that. I believe this is like their 6th year or 7th year of ownership. And so some of the players had already started to, get drafted and all that we have now on this team. And so they kind of inherited all of this. So you think about it, Viola and Sifu have really never named their own general manager. Okay? And in hindsight, those changes that they made a few years ago with Tom Rowe, maybe Tom Rowe wasn't the guy, but maybe they should have kept with the changes. Maybe they shouldn't have given Talon any more power. Actually, in hindsight, the right thing was to take power away from Talon because clearly he can't do anything with it. So Viola and Sifu, they need a fresh start on their own. They need to clean house. They need to bring in a new GM and let that GM do what he wants with the team. If he wants to trade Huberdeau or Barkov or Ekblad, then so be it. If he wants to keep Bob, I mean, Bob's probably untradeable the way he played in that contract. Forget about it now. I mean, that contract was going to be untradeable as it is on the back end. The way he played this year, wow. That becomes a really disgusting contract. But we'll see. Whatever. But you must clean house at the end of this season. There is no reason whatsoever to keep pretty much anything around. Anything and everything is eligible for trade. You need to clean. I mean, this has to be one of those organizational enemas because there is a softness about this team. And as long as it's going to continue this way, and as crappy as Bob has played, I'll be honest, the defense in front of Bob is even worse. So it doesn't help Bob out ever, or anybody else that's in goal. And that's something that Talon has not fixed for 10 years. And he can't come up with a great goal scorer in 10 years. So, last night, you need points. You need goals. Where are these guys? All of a sudden now they can't score. Oh, I'm sorry. What happened, guys? Did they get physical on you? And you guys back down? What a shocker. Huberto, Barkov, and company back down. Huberto, Barkov, and company can't take on challenges. Huberto and Barkov and company, they choke. Wow. Like we've never seen that before. And I feel terrible for the owners, man. Those are damn good owners. They want to spend money. They want to win badly. And, they've got to make the tough decision. I'm sorry. They got to make the easy decision. It's not tough anymore. Nobody's going to tell you that you're crazy if you get rid of Dale Talon. Nobody. In fact, I'm at a point now is why are you I get that maybe you're keeping him around because, I don't know, they're probably thinking that if the team gets a little hot and they get into the playoffs, it won't look good that they let go of Talon or whatever, but give me a break, dude. These guys, if these guys find a way to get enough points to get in, all they're going to do is get embarrassed. It's going to look exactly like the Barkov breakaway. You just knew it wasn't going to end in a goal. That's all. So, clean house. All right? Let's go with a little roll call here this morning. Remember, you can get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. George Albany says, bright and early, fellas. Good morning. Myron says, good morning, this coronavirus canceled Ultra. I know. We talked about that yesterday. Did I miss the start of daylight savings time, or is it really 9 a.m.? No, it's 9 Fridays, we do 9 to 11 and 1 to 4. Remember, Fridays is a whole different ballgame. We do 2 radio shows in 2 different places, so we change it up a little bit. And I had some really, really incredible news happen to me yesterday. It was already in the works for a while, but it was kind of finalized yesterday. Our show times also may be changing again. So I'm not exactly sure if it'll be early in the morning or later in the afternoon, evening. But, it'll still be daily and all that, but we might be doing it at different times coming soon because of certain things that are going to happen at times. Now, it depends on, for our sponsors, that might change. On Thursdays and Fridays may not change, but the rest of the week may end up changing when it's all said and done. We'll keep you updated on all of that. Myron says, hey, daylight savings is Sunday. That's right. And remember,
2 in the morning.
We spring forward. You fall back, you spring forward. So we're springing forward. You get 1 less hour of sleep, in other words. Elder Bruce Jones says, good morning. John Santos says, good morning. Can't wait to watch Inter Miami tomorrow. I am with you, man. 3:30. They're going to get a win. Oh, man, it's going to be freaking awesome. Go Gators says good morning. Salutations. Let's see. What else do we have here? The Florida Panthers are nothing but a disappointment for 10 years. I agree. King Short says, happy Friday, my peeps. Let's see what else. And he says, top of the morning. David Leshin says he got Spicoli'd. Bah, exactly. Yes, he got Spicoli'd. Yeah, dude, he got stoned, man. David says, going to use this phrase the rest of my life. You can have it, David. He got Spicoli'd. Let's see what else. George Arthur says, good morning, my man. I'm just tuning in to get my daily dosage of the Big O Show hit with some knowledge. Thank you, sir. King Short says, doobie, do. Nice. FinFan70 says, any good used Jeeps for sale out there? So FinFan70 is looking for a used Jeep. Does anybody have a Jeep? Or out here at Acura, I'm sure they've got used Jeeps, dude. I'm sure of it. Go to the website and look at the pre-owned vehicles, and they have the inventory there. And it also allows you to, like, if you only want to look at whatever Chevys they have or Toyotas or Mercedes or whatever from the used cars, so put pickup trucks or Jeeps. And
use the filter.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And you can filter in and just put Jeeps, and they'll show you the Jeeps that they have. So, yes, I'm sure they have to have, a couple of Jeeps. So check it out there, my brother. And good luck to you. The Raging Dolphin Maniac says, good morning, Big O. Here's hoping coronavirus cancels the Astros season. No, man. You know why? Because if it cancels the Astros, it cancels everybody else. I'm looking forward to the Marlins season. Alan C. says, where can we watch the Inter-Miami match? TV deal yet? Yes, it's on CBS, if I'm correct. CBS will carry the games. So you'll be able to watch it on Saturday on CBS. And I think Univision also. I'm pretty sure of that. So you'll be able to watch it there. 3:30 tomorrow. I'm going to go get a jersey.
Where are you going to do that? Which one are you getting?
Brett at Caneswear. They just came in. Oh, by the way, folks, if you want your Inter Miami jerseys, Caneswear got their Inter Miami jerseys yesterday. Okay? Now, you bastards, don't go buying all the jerseys, okay? All right, I need my XL at 11:30.
I would strongly suggest you calling Brett and reserving that.
So don't go buying all the jerseys, all right? Maybe I'll call Brett now on the break and tell him, yo, save me an extra large just in case, because I need my Inter Miami jersey. But they've got the jerseys over at Caneswear, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. So if you want to get one of those sweet Inter Miami jerseys, get your asses over there. Okay? Hurry up. Anyway, so there you go. Let's see. What else do we have here? What do we got? 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Big O, Jets first-round pick arrested at airport for gun possession. What's it about? Gase, that crap, likes to follow him no matter where he goes. Everything he touches turns to crap. Maybe we can find a way for him to touch the coronavirus Cubano in North Carolina. You know what? Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll talk about a moron that doesn't know how to do things the right way when you travel, which is amazing to me. Let me tell you about Murias Dental, and I tell you, when it comes to Invisalign or implants, you got to call my friends at Murias Dental, 305-821-0231, folks. You can follow them on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at Murias Dental. And if you're looking for an implant, you're looking for Invisalign, you want to straighten out those teeth, a crown, clean the teeth, it doesn't matter. State-of-the-art equipment. It's a family-owned operation. They've been around for a long, long time, man. I'm telling you, Murias Sr., okay? The dad is he's an innovator, okay? This is a guy that even invents tools that other dentists use nowadays on an everyday basis. That's what we're talking about. That's the kind of experience, the kind of knowledge, and the kind of talent that you're going to see when you go to Murias Dental, and, of course, state-of-the-art equipment. Call them. Tell them that Big O sent you, 305-821-0231, or go online to muriasdental.com. Toyotaofhollywood.com.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Yes,
This
sir.
is the Big O Show.
Myron's asking me if he can buy the Inter Miami jersey online. Go to the caneswear.com website and see if it's online already. If not, you probably could buy it online. And I don't know if they put it, because they received them yesterday. Yesterday afternoon when they got them, they called me and they said, because I told them, hey, call me the second they're in. Because when I get off of here, I got to be at Hialeah for 1 o'clock. So I'm leaving here. I'm going to go over to Caneswear in Davie, get my jersey, and then drive over to Hialeah. When you're in a Camry XSE, it is such a pleasure to drive everywhere. You know what I mean? So I don't mind driving anywhere in that Camry SSE because it's just a beautiful thing. So that's what I'm saying. So it's a beautiful thing. So we're going to drive over there. We're going to drive back. And that's it, man. We're going to have some fun. So, yeah. But what I would do is, Myron, go online. If you don't see it there, okay, then call them and tell them that you want to purchase it, and I'm sure they'll go through it and walk you through it and then purchase it right online, and then they'll ship it to you. So that kind of stuff. They'll take care of you, man. Brett and all those folks are just amazing people. They are the best at customer service. So trust me, you will be absolutely fine. Alan's asking me, Big O, are you going to go see Berlin and Big Country tomorrow at Club Space? You know it, baby. You know it. Yes, I will be there at Berlin tomorrow. Are you kidding me? And Big Country? In a Big Country, dreams are made for you. That's right. I've got my ATV. I'm actually going in an ATV to the concert in honor of Big Country. And that video that they were in the ATVs, I figured,
those were actually ATCs.
Oh, they were ATCs?
Three-wheelers, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, three-wheeler ATCs.
Okay, ATCs. Okay. I went and found one because they're illegal now, right, or something. And so they don't.
They were still at cycle, not vehicle.
They don't sell them anymore, right? Right.
You know what?
It's like the
three-wheelers
four-wheeler now, right?
It's ATVs, yes.
Yeah. So unless they're grandfathered in, unless you already had it, right? Is that what it is?
Right. And we went from cycles to vehicles.
Okay. So there you go. So I found some old ATCs. And we're going to go ATCing all the way to Club Space. So when you see my ATC outside with a chain, you'll know it's me. Okay? Oh, Alan's saying, what about the scuba gear? Yes. See, what we're going to do is after the concert, we got the scuba gear over by the bay, and then we'll put it on. And
Don't forget your flares.
Yeah, and the flares too. There you go. All of that. Ronald Tipp says, what would you like the Dolphins what would you like them to do or going to do in free agency, and what would you like to see them do? Ronald, I just don't want them to look, man, I just don't want them to do the stupid things they used to do in the past, and I don't think they're going to do that. Like sign old players to long-term contracts and signing bonuses and crap like that. No, that's the kind of stuff that I can't I can't stomach. I want them to go after a couple of young free agents. If they can land that, great. The older guys, 1 or 2 year deals just to get by, which I know you're not going to get top-end free agents for that because they want long-term contracts and big signing bonuses, and Miami is not really going to do that. But I want them to spend responsibly. That's what I want because there's no hurry at all. I'm not the guy that is expecting microwave results. And I got kind of some microwave results this year because 5 wins is a lot more than I ever thought that they would have this season. I didn't even think they'd win 1 game. And they won 5. George says, perfectly said about the Finns free agency. Oh, thank you, sir. That's the way I roll. I just want them to be responsible. And then everything else will work. But I already believe that that's what's going to happen with them. Now, you brought up about a Jets offensive lineman who clearly doesn't know how to travel, and Quinnen Williams was arrested at the airport because the guy had a gun. I just don't understand. This happens all the time. We get athletes and sometimes some entertainers, some actors and actresses and things like that. I don't know about an actress, but actors have kind of been busted with this. But mostly athletes. Here, Quinnen Williams was arrested at LaGuardia Airport in New York City and charged with criminal possession of a weapon. Williams was arrested at the airport trying to board a flight at approximately 9:15. He was in possession of a gun, and he also had an Alabama permit. So now, does this dumbass know that he's in New York, where the gun laws are extremely strict there? And if he didn't have a permit in New York, you can't carry that gun. Okay? And to get a permit in New York is not easy either. Not easy either. So This fool, how do you, he had to have, he probably thought because he had, this is how stupid this guy is. And I'm gambling that this is how stupid he is. Since he had a permit in Alabama, he figured they would let him carry the gun in the airport, on the plane, back to Alabama, because the gun and the permit were going to the proper place where he could use it. Now, Quinnen Williams, moron. Do you know anybody in Alabama? How about, like packaging it and mailing it to that person? You can even have it, what's that called, certified and all that? Is that what it's called? When somebody signs for it, certified or whatever mail? You can do that, Quinnen. I don't know if you know, I don't know if your dumbass knows that, but you could actually box it up, okay? Put it in a, wrap it up really good, put it in a box, all that, send it to a friend, and they have to sign for it. Not leave it right on the doorstep and somebody steals it and that puts you at risk. No. Certified mail. That somebody will get that package in their hands and sign Quinnen. So when you arrive in Alabama, somebody will then hand you your gun and you have a permit and you'll be fine. Do you have a brain, young man? Clearly not. Quinnen Williams, if you weren't playing football, you'd be saying, would you like fries with that? It's and this excuse sometimes that I forgot I had it in my bag. What do you mean you forgot you had it in your bag? It's a gun. Don't you know where your gun is? It's like some of these dumbasses. They got a guy that takes all their money from their accounts, and they don't find out about it till years later. Well, I didn't check my accounts. What's wrong with you, dude? I tell you, some football players, they dumb as bricks, man. Anyway, so he, by the way, is being processed by Port Authority Police Department on Thursday night before the case gets referred to the Queens District Attorney Office, and then they tell you his stats. I always love all that. Guy commits murder, guy commits rape, gun charge, gambling, whatever type of solicitation, whatever little problem or big problem they have. And then the article always ends with what he did that year, what's he done for his career, how many Pro Bowls he's made, all of that. Like really, dude? Do we really need to know that part of the story? It's filler. That's all it is. But Quinnen Williams, brother, come on, dude. How stupid can you be? My Lord, you have no brains whatsoever. A gun at the airport. That's a great idea. Let's see. Just another bad Jets player and story. Jerry Jones did the same, I think. I don't know if Jerry did it, but if he did it, it's pure stupidity. TSA says you may transport unloaded firearms in a locked hard side container as checked baggage only. Declare the firearm and or ammunition to the airline when checking your bag. Exactly. There you go. That's another way. But I don't even like that either. Are they still doing that? Because that's how the dude went crazy in the Fort Lauderdale airport. He had his rifles in the checked baggage. So then when he went to baggage claim to claim his bags, he claimed his guns and then started shooting people at the Fort Lauderdale airport. I'm not a fan of that at all. That should be shipped separately, by mail carrier or something. I'm not a fan of you having your guns at one point or another in the airport. That's just not, Armed Ape says yes, they're doing that. What one guy says, it has to go to an FFL holder It has to be transferred. Can't just mail it to anyone. Oh, really? Okay, so you've got to. So if you mail it from one state to another, you've got to mail it to like somewhere that somebody that is a licensed gun holder or something like that. Is that what FFL means? Interesting. I've never had to do that, so I don't know. Ty from the Bronx is chiming in on a beautiful Friday. I like it. All right, what else do we have here to talk about on the program? Oh, Dan Shonka from Our Lads is going to join us in hour number 2 at 10:30. We'll talk all things NFL draft with Dan Shonka. They do a great job at Our Lads, so we'll have a little fun with him. He's a former NFL scout, so we'll get his thoughts on all kinds of stuff going into the NFL draft. Here's a story. Michael Irving II. He is using the transfer portal, and he is getting the hell out of here. Now, here's the one thing that has kind of developed, right, over the years. Irving, the son of the Hurricanes and Pro Football Hall of Famer Michael Irving, announced Thursday that he's put his name into the transfer portal. In a statement he posted on Twitter, Irving called the decision uneasy, but believes is what will be best for him. So Michael Irvin says, after precise thought about my future, about my life, future, and dreams, I've come to an uneasy decision to put my name in the transfer portal. I want to say thank you to the Coach Golden and his staff for recruiting me. I want to thank Coach Rick and his staff for keeping me and giving me a chance to play at my dream school. I want to thank Coach Diaz for being the great man and coach that he is and for supporting me through everything. I also want to show my most gratitude to Coach Hartley and Coach Field and even Coach Scott, for showing me what a position coach is and being the mentors and developers and teachers that I needed to grow as a man and a football player. I will never forget my brothers and what I've been through at this place. The memories and the relationships will last forever. This hurts my heart to the core, but I believe it's what's best for my family and myself. Nothing but love for this place and the people in it. And that being said, thank you, Miami Canes, forever. So clearly he wasn't going to play. And so he transfers. And here's where I would tell you something. Have you noticed that the legacy players, most of them don't work out? You know, once in a while you'll get a Blades and it'll trickle in and you'll have, some pretty good luck with a Blades. But whether it's Highsmith, Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, I'm trying to remember, there's a few more that have come in over the last few years and former Canes greats, and they just came up short. And we live in this nostalgia as Canes fans. We're dying for them to recapture the old glory. We're dying for them to be national champions again. We're dying to see a Canes team that can go out and win with swag. And while we try to recapture the past and the magic and the history and all of that, this goes on too. And every time we have one of these legacy players, people get excited about them getting recruited and all of that. The enthusiasm for all of that has kind of waned a little bit. It's kind of died out now because you see it and I see it. Most people see that a lot of the legacy guys just really don't end up living up to what you saw from Dad. And it's a shame. But that's kind of what the reality is. And when I saw the Michael Irving thing, it was almost like you were expecting it to happen at one point or another, right? Because he's been here for several years and never makes an impact. And so it kind of reminds you, and then you start thinking about all the other legacy guys that have come through lately, and you're like, wow, man, we've had some of the kids from some of the best UM players that have ever played here, and yet their kids don't even come close. And, for whatever reason, it's just so hard when you're Pete Rose's kid or you're Ted Williams' kid or you're Walter Payton's kid or whatever, and it's hard for you to then have to live up to your dad, who was one hell of a player. And then people are expecting you to be that second, generation guy, and you're not. And that's because you weren't blessed with the kind of ability that your dad had. And it's not your fault. But it has happened a lot lately with the Canes. Ian from Brooklyn says he is a far shadow from his father. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the way it is, and that's what's been happening for a long, long time. I'm getting a call where it says scam likely and it says Geneva. Yahweh Bulla says, Big O, you're the best. Jerry in Nashville, Tennessee. Didn't Greer say he would rather have several good players than one great one, which means he wants to trade our other first-round pick? Listen, I've said for a while now that one of those 3 first-round picks will be traded. So I would not be surprised if they trade out of one of those picks. I don't think it'll be number 5. But I think you're onto something there, Yahweh, because I think he's going to want to invest a little bit more into the draft for the following year. So I expect that to kind of roll over a little bit. Douglas Anderson says, the Marley brothers, son of Bob Marley. Yeah, but Bob wasn't a UM player. You know what I'm saying? I know. I get Rowan.
Wait. You're going to talk about Rowan Marley?
Yeah.
Number 2?
Yeah.
The guy that said...
The Fly.
Bro, my favorite. Syracuse.
He was a nice linebacker, man.
Bro.
Yeah, but he's not a legacy. But he's
180 pounds wet.
Yeah,
and
but all balls.
240.
All balls.
Oh.
All balls.
My favorite, obviously,
all balls.
Syracuse. Donovan
But he's
McNabb.
not a legacy player. I was talking about legacy players. He's a legacy from his dad, but his dad didn't play for Miami.
What about his brother, man? His brother's got a band.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's the brother's name? Damn, and he does a good job too, man. He does a nice job with his reggae band. Oh man, it's not Rohan. Ziggy Marley. Yes. Nice job. Yes. Ziggy Marley. King Short says, big ups, Mace. Cheyenne Moore says, Rohan was a good, undersized linebacker at the U. Yeah, hell yeah. Him and Maurice Crumcrusher. Those are probably 2 small linebackers that were, awesome.
That Syracuse game, Donovan McNabb throwing up and, look, he's getting sick.
Yeah.
Let's get him.
Let's see, what else do we have here on the board? Just watch Burrow tape. Not bad, but not great. I don't think the first pick. Well, we'll see. I mean, he'll be the first pick for the Bengals. That's for damn sure. You can bet your life on that he'll end up number 1. Heat back in action tonight. By the way, they will take on the Pelicans at 8:00. Looking forward to that. Get a little Zion action. That kid he is fun to watch. Now, listen, I am one of those guys too that worries about the force he plays with in his body, and that he's going to wear out his body quickly. But I will say this: for our entertainment purposes, he is worth every penny watching him play. And whenever you get a chance to watch him on television, I mean, it's awesome. He's a freak, man. It's hard to find people built like that, and they can explode that way with that kind of athleticism. And so while it lasts, and I hope his career lasts 15, 20 years, and I hope he proves, like me, I hope he proves me wrong that his body doesn't wear down and all of that. because of the force he plays with. But, man, that is a lot of fun to watch him play. Holy moly. Wow. That is a freakish-ass dude. Can't wait to watch that game tonight. And the way the Heat are playing, I've been very, very impressed with the way they bounce back. Hopefully, there's a road game, so this will be a nice little test now because they went through this part of the home stretch and got out of their funk and have played really well. Now you don't want to see them. Now they go on a 2-game road trip, right? They go to New Orleans tonight, and then Sunday they play the Wizards. Both very winnable games, okay? No guarantees, but both winnable games. We know what the Wizards did to Miami, I don't know, what was it, like a month and a half, 2 months ago when they shot lights out and in one half scored like 85 points. So Miami's got to get their stuff straightened out, but this is nice here. These 2 road games are nice because now you kind of get a feel, they stink on the road. So if you can go out there and win these 2 games, then it kind of ties to those 6 games and you say, okay, maybe these guys, have figured it out a little bit. We'll see. Let's see. I see Greer trading back into the latter half of the first round, picking up a running back or wide receiver, cornerback or safety, ending up with 4 potential Pro Bowl players. I love that, Douglas. Very nice. That would be really nice. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to watching the Heat tonight, going up against Zion Williamson. That's going to be a lot of fun. Hour number 2, Dan Shonka is going to join us from Our Lads and NFL Scouting Service, and we'll talk all things draft with Dan Shonka. Later on in the afternoon, Will Carroll will stop by. We'll have our Dolphin president. We're working on another guest or 2 also in the process. So we've got all kinds of stuff going on, and I got a bunch of things also that I want to get to here on the program, man. There's, let me see here. I got a lot of subjects that I got to touch on. Holy crap. And I got to give you my XFL picks this afternoon, which we didn't have a terrible week, but we certainly did not have a good week. Going 3-3, that's not good. 500, it's not terrible, but after the first couple weeks where we were red hot, 3-3 is we got to do better than that. Big O, defensive line, the best spot to spend free agent money, or offensive line. There's a couple of young offensive linemen. If they hit free agency, that definitely would be a way to go. Look, man, if you can spend money on a young D lineman or O lineman, you and I know, and every other Dolphin knows out there, they got to beef up the lines. That's how they're going to win. You know it and I know it. You'll make your average quarterback better. You'll make a good quarterback great if you got a great line. And you got a great running back. And I think that's all coming. And they know it. Okay? I mean, you watch them last year. 2 of the picks were in the interior. Right? Dieter and Wilkins. And actually Isaiah Prince, too, was later on in the draft. This year, now you've got those early picks, and I think you're going to see some of that. You're going to see a lineman or a pass rusher early on in this draft. That would make a lot of sense. All right, let's take a quick break. 1 hour down. We got 1 more to go. We're coming to you live, baby, from Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the finest dealership in the business. I would never tell you to buy or lease a vehicle where I wouldn't do it myself. In fact, my wife and my daughter both drive RDXs, folks. I drove a TSX for 10 years until I totaled it. I'm so depressed about my TSX. Ugh. Anyway, so this is why I tell you, come on out here, check out the selection. I'm telling you, Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone, all the great people out here, they're going to take care of you at the finest dealership in the business at 15601 Pines Boulevard. There is no better Acura dealership on the planet than Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty.
This is the Big O Show.
We are back. We take you till 11 here, and then we take a break, and then we're back at 1 o'clock, and we do 3 hours over.
Take a break?
Yeah, kind of, in a way.
Well,
you know.
Yeah, break down.
Yeah.
Set up.
Yeah, right. That's kind of a break.
Haul.
From them, it's a break. You know? Y2VGEGAA says, Big O, who will do your show when you're on vacation? And you bring up Troy Stratford again. I don't know what your love affair is with Troy Stratford. Troy Stratford is a friend of mine. I don't know if I'm even going to have any kind of a fill-in during this. This is not a radio station. You know what I mean? So if I'm not on, well...
if the equipment doesn't travel with, the show ain't happening.
Yeah, exactly. And you've already got me vacationing. I already took a vacation just last week. I was sick for 2 days. That's my vacation. That's pretty much it. Yeah, you know that I think it was my first 16, 17 years at QAM, I missed 4 days of work. In 17 years, I missed 4 days. 2 of them were for the birth of my daughter. The other 2, what was it? I don't even know what you know what? I don't even remember why I missed I'm not one of those people that, takes time off or things like that. I'm not that. I'm kind of a workaholic. So that's kind of what I've always been since I've gotten in this business. But you can have me, vacationing all you want. But yeah, there's a good chance that if I'm vacationing, there just won't be a podcast. That's all. If I take it off, there just won't be a podcast that day. And that's it. So very excited. We'll have another announcement later on at the end of this month. That nice accomplishment for our show. So we should have a little fun with that. Anyway, if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. Did you see what Raheem Mostert is doing with the San Francisco 49ers? And I don't blame him for any of this. Wait a minute, where is it? Here it is. So the running back announced on Wednesday that he will not be participating in an autograph signing schedule for this weekend because of concerns related to the coronavirus. Mostert took to Twitter to make the announcement, noting in the process that he and his wife are expecting their second child. So that means they also have a first child. He says, due to the recent outbreak of coronavirus in the Bay Area, I have decided not to attend the signing on March 8th at Santa Clara Convention Center. With that said, most of you know, Devon and I have an 8-month-old son, Gunnar. Today, we are excited to announce that we are expecting baby Most, number 2, this fall. As a husband and father, it's my job to put my family first. Thank you all for understanding. I will make it up to you soon. And I got to tell you, Raheem, you got nothing to apologize about, my brother. Nothing whatsoever. That's extremely smart on your part. Those of you that want to take precautions, you're not overreacting. You're doing the right thing. Okay? You want to wear a mask? Go ahead. Who the hell wants to catch it? And you know what I love is that people are, the flu does this. And yeah, but we don't need more viruses floating around. We can't get rid of the flu. But this one, it's a little worse than the flu. So let's try to limit this. Let's try to, get rid of it so that way it doesn't spread. I have no problem with that. I mean, the guy in Washington, one guy alone infected 9 on his own. And did you see what happened with what's it called? A cruise ship. That, my friends, was a little disturbing. I don't know if you saw this. Where is this story on the cruise ship? There was a worker who had the coronavirus on a cruise ship. And so this is where, not on a cruise ship, at the Seattle XFL game. That's what it was. A vendor who sold concessions at CenturyLink Field during the February 22nd Seattle Dragons XFL game has tested positive for the coronavirus. Authorities say it's unlikely the stadium employees spread the coronavirus to anyone at the game. We have worked with the employees and the operator of the stadium, First and Goal, to evaluate potential exposures at the Seattle Dragons game, and we've determined that the risk of infection to attendees from this person was low. A spokesman for the Seattle Public Health Department told The Times, we are following up with a few coworkers with close contact of the employee on the February 22nd game, provided guidance on appropriate precautions. There are no extra precautions required for those who attend the game or will attend upcoming events, but all King County residents should know that the risk for infection of COVID-19 is increasing in our community and should be aware of their symptoms. Call their healthcare provider if they develop a cough, fever, or other respiratory problems, the spokesman said. Now these are the things that are going to freak people out. That somebody that has COVID-19 is working concessions at a game. I'm sure you guys saw the story of the passengers that are all trapped on that boat, and they all are confined to their rooms. And the lady that was, one of the couples that they showed, and they were on Skype. They were like, "Hey, listen, we're all right and all that, but I got to tell you something. You're on a boat and you're confined to your room? Oh man. Like, come on, dude. You're going to get claustrophobic with a quickness."
Not if you have an outside room with a balcony.
That'll help you slightly, but eventually you will be tired of being inside a room, inside a boat. Trust me. Okay? That will get to you eventually, that you're trapped inside the same room and all of that. I'm thinking my 20th anniversary, if I was stuck in that room, which is what Bill was talking about, we had a double room and a double balcony. So we had like one of those giant rooms, and we had a double balcony. So we had plenty of space. I'm still thinking that if you trap me in there for 7 days, and that's all I can walk around in all the time. Come on, man. And then what are you doing? Are you ordering in so they bring you the food? So who's bringing me the food? Are they healthy? Are you sure? Because the guy in Seattle was serving people and he had the coronavirus. Telling you, man. That's weird stuff, dude. Weird stuff. You got a vendor. That's going to scare people from going to places because they don't know. Okay, admit this. All right? Now that you've gone to drive-thrus over the last week or two, are you wondering who's making the food? Are you wondering who's handing you the food? And are they sick? Right? I mean, that's got to go through your mind. It's only natural that you would think something like that. And these are the things that are going to scare. I mean, that's why they had to stop Ultra. And that only makes sense. And especially with Ultra, man, that people come from all over the world. Although I will say this, as a person that's got plane tickets and everything planned out for the Vegas draft party, I do feel bad for those people that were going to Ultra and they already have hotels and airplane reservations and all of that. Some of these companies are working with you hopefully to help you cancel this stuff or rearrange it or whatever, and hopefully you can and you don't lose out on money. But I mean, even if Ultra's canceled, they're doing you a favor because you've got to get on a plane to come here. You're going to be in a place trapped with thousands of people. So you're going to be at some kind of a risk. And by the way, it's not like it's not spreading. It's spreading. We're getting more and more cases, which is only natural. And you and I know that we're going to have some of these idiots that are going to be infected, and they're going to purposely go out of their way to try to infect others. Because they're going to find it funny, or they just want to be plain evil. Which, again, disturbing on all levels. You know, you show a little humanity by actually, you know what, I'm going to stay away from everybody. When you're that responsible, that you care about people you don't even know, and you say, hey, man, it's my responsibility to get healthy and to stay away from people and not affect anybody else. Meanwhile, there's stuff being canceled left and right. Anyway. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, that's 786-322-1105. 1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can reach out to us also on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. A lot of you out there, when you rock out, right? You've done your air guitar stuff, right? You hear a jam and they're playing some part of the guitar and you're throwing your air guitar out there. I remember there was a tight end years ago. I think he played for the Saints, and when he would score, he would do a little air guitar, right? So air guitar has always been one of those things that rockers do, right? So air guitar apparently is serious business. Don't let anybody convince you otherwise. In Perth, Australia, 3,722 AC/DC fans lined up at the Perth Fest to set the Guinness World Record for the biggest air guitar gathering on March 1st. Leading the charge was Jinja assassin Alex Roberts, who is Australia's air guitar champion. Shut up. That's a real thing, yes. He commanded the 3,700 plus crowd as they strummed along to AC/DC's immortal hit Highway to Hell on their invisible 6 strings, shattering the old biggest air guitar gathering record, which was 2,377 people. So 3,722 people ended up doing this. The previous record took place in 2011 in San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino in Highland, California, at a rock and roll bingo event held by a local radio station. They played along to Crazy Train, which was played live by Ozzy Osbourne's tribute group, Mr. Crowley. It was a proud day for Australians who reclaimed the world record after their previous one had been broken. The aforementioned bingo event, they first held that record in 2009 with 1,883 air guitarists answered the call. Joining the Jinja Assassins were 2 other esteemed air guitarists, Tony Air Manuel, West Row, a former Aussie air guitar champion, and state champion Billy Damage. They got the footage there. So the 2020 Air Guitar World Championships will once again be held in Oulu, Finland in August. Regional championship rounds are currently underway as representatives from various countries will be crowned in the coming months. On the final day of the Perth Festival, 150,000 AC/DC fans flooded the highway for a Highway to Hell tribute to the late singer Bon Scott. Why not have them all play air guitars during that? The person that wrote the article asked, which was true, actually. Should have gotten people to do it at that time. You think AC/DC is slightly big over there in Australia? Just by a little bit? Just a tad? I can't wait to see them personally. And who doesn't do a little air guitar for AC/DC might be the king of air guitar. Yeah, you think about it. You Shook Me All Night Long and Hell's Bells, Back in Black, Honey, What Do You Do for Money, Highway to Hell. I mean, come on, Thunderstruck.
For those about to rock.
We salute you. I mean, they are the end because of Angus, right? Hell, Angus had to have been the guy that started headbanging, right? Who knows? He might have been the most influential person for headbanging because he's been headbanging forever. Anyway, so there you go. A little air guitar champions. Almost 4,000 people. That's pretty impressive, I got to say. That's that is definitely one that I would have to tip my hat to. Oh, so it looks like Dion Waiters. I don't know. Is Dion Waiters, after it's all said and done, Dion Waiters basically got rewarded for being a punk, right? Because think about it. First of all, he bamboozles Pat Riley into this contract. So you're giving him money, and he goes immediately to get surgery on that ankle. So he's now useless for you for 2 years. After 2 years, he comes back only to act like a horse's ass, and you have to suspend him 3 different times before you finally get to cut him and move on. And so now he gets cut from his team in that trade. Or not cut him, you traded him and get rid of him. But now he gets cut from the team right away that traded for him because they didn't want him around the young guys, which made a lot of sense. So he becomes an outright free agent, and now he gets picked up by the Lakers. And look, I get it. He's going to be at the end of the bench, and he'll play scrub minutes and all that stuff, but he is going to play. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to end up playing more for the Lakers than he was for Miami anyway. And I don't think they'll win a title because I still think the Clippers are the best team in the NBA. And if they're healthy, I expect the Clippers to win it. But having said all that, he still also has a slim shot at winning a title too. Or, okay, a chance at winning a title. Some of you might take it personal, slim. And that's because I'm heavily favoring, the Clippers. But, I mean, you kind of get rewarded for being a punk, basically, is what happened with Dion Waiters. And this happens so much in life in general, that we see these people that aren't willing to sacrifice, people that are unappreciative, which clearly that's what Dion Waiters is, unappreciative. Here's a guy that didn't deserve that contract, yet the Heat gave you the contract, and you acted like you were the second coming, and you haven't accomplished anything in your career. Because you played well for 29 games, get the hell out of here, dude. That's all that guy's got on that resume. And yet he gets to keep his money. And he did right, and his agent did right about, no, we're not negotiating a buyout. He gets all his money. Now he'll get a little more also because he's going to get the veteran minimum from the Lakers. And now if he's a good boy like Dwight Howard, he's got a shot at a title if LeBron and AD carry him to a title. And we all know that if the Clippers suffer any kind of injury, and obviously Kawhi, although Kawhi now I think was they lifted his minutes restrictions now. Now he's no longer limited at all. But Paul George has had a bunch of injuries. So we all know that if they suffer some kind of a setback, Lakers will take over, and Dion Waiters will get a title, will get his money, and was able to act like a punk, get his ass out of here, and he gets everything that he wants. That's disturbing to me, man. We reward people like this. We reward bad behavior. We reward being unprofessional. Not good, man. Not good. I saw this dude air guitar to Sting once, and they kicked him out of the concert. What an ass. How do you... you deserve to get air... I mean, you can't air guitar Sting. There are some rules here in order to air guitar. It's got to be impressive. Let's see. Douglas Anderson says, I love Eason, strong arm, very accurate. Issue with him is working under pressure. His QB rating drops significantly when under pressure. That's because, Douglas, he isn't an athlete. Can't move around. And that's going to be a problem. Okay, I see you guys are all talking amongst yourselves here. Victo Bucket says, nobody on Lakers could play defense. Yeah, I know that they're not a great defensive club overall, but if the Clippers suffer any kind of setback with their stars, I think the Lakers end up winning. I don't expect the Lakers to win. I expect the Clippers to beat the Lakers and win the title. Don't get me wrong. But again, anything can happen with injuries. If those injuries do happen, and Paul George has had a ton of injuries this year so far, if that's a problem by the time they get to the playoffs, I think that opens the door for the Lakers. Hey, listen, same thing could happen with the Lakers. Anthony Davis is always injured. And LeBron, last year he had that injury, and, maybe it was a sign of things to come, but right now it has not reared its ugly head again. So he's healthy. But AD is one of those guys that does break down a ton. So that's very, very believable that he would break down. Okay? By the way, we're out here at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines, and right now they got some great deals going on, man. The ILX is $209, the TLX is $249, the RDX $339, the MDX $349, only $29.99 do it signing plus tax tag and registration. I can see the certified pre-owned vehicles right here in front of me, folks. Come on out here, check out the showroom. The beautiful NSX is here. You got to check that thing out, man. Not a lot of dealerships across the country have NSXs. You can find one here right now, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you, and I promise you they're going to take care of you, baby. At Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 O Show.
All right, we are ready to rock and roll. We're going to talk a little NFL draft now with Dan Shonka. Does an excellent job of covering the NFL draft. Of course, former NFL scout. And you can follow him on Twitter at OurLads_Shonka, SHONKA. Dan, good morning, my man. How are you doing?
Really good. Good morning, and I hope everything's well in Miami.
Oh, everything is well in Miami as long as we can find a damn quarterback, Dan. That's what we need right now, Dan. We need since the other Dan that we had here named Marino, we haven't recovered. You know what I'm saying?
That's all. Just a quarterback. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah. That's right. That's it. So what do you think? Are we going to solve that issue at number 5?
Well, if the positions there have been changed since Drew Brees got rejected several years ago, yes, I think they probably twisted, turned, jump up and down, and kick those hips of Tua to see if they're pliable and if they're going to be able to hold up to NFL rigors. So if they do, if they pass him on the physical, which, just because you passed other teams' physical doesn't mean, an individual team may pass you, but if he passes the physicals, Tua could, be their guy, but I would still be very, very cautious. When you're hurt going into the NFL, which, it's well known, Tua's been nicked up several times in several places. It doesn't look good when you get in the league because, you're going to get injured once you get in the league.
No doubt. So, Dan, it sounds like you're like me when people say, well, Tua's recovering well. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't mean he's durable. And that's my problem with him. That's why I wouldn't take him at 5 because of the durability factor, because he doesn't have that durability factor. Is that why it sounds like you might stay away from him at 5 also? What are your thoughts?
I tell you, you're right. I tell you what I would do, actually. I would take him on the second contract. I would probably pass him, and I've been in enough draft rooms that we put, the guys on the sideboard, and we take them at a certain spot. Obviously, he's not going to last the second round.
No.
But, some doctors may say, well, hey, this guy may last, a week. He may step off a curb and be done his whole career, and so I would probably stay away from him, the first time around here and let somebody else be smarter than me, I guess.
All right, so Dan, you've been in these war rooms. How are you looking at Jordan Love and Justin Herbert? These are guys, one, we hear about the maturity and those things, and that's why Herbert went back. Jordan Love has got the intoxicating talent, but the inconsistencies that are head-scratching from one season to another. So how are you breaking down the film? How should we look at those two guys?
Oh, you've been looking a little bit of TV tape or something, because I tell you, I'm not a Love guy either. When you talk about inconsistency, holy smokes. And then, what really bothers me are some of these analysts that they make all kinds of excuses for the guy. To me, if you want a great quarterback, he elevates all the players around him. You're going to have some problems at first with your offensive line, and they had some different offensive linemen. They got a different running back in there. They lost a guy for a year ago. There was a coaching change, but I'll tell you, you still set up in the pocket and you throw the ball at your target, and he was way high. The thing actually, like a Senior Bowl, for instance, that he did the best was just throw quick outs and things to the flat. Down the field, he missed his targets. He was throwing way behind them, and and then he misses a wide open post for a touchdown in the Senior Bowl game itself. So, we can keep making excuses for the guy, but if you're a turnover machine, and I said this about Jameis Winston when Jameis came out, I said, Jameis Winston's got talent, but he's going to turn the ball over a bunch. I didn't realize he had 30 turnovers in 1 year like he did last year, but, once you're a turnover machine, you're going to be a turnover machine, and that's the other problem with Love. He's inaccurate, and he's a turnover machine, and I would stay away from him too. Now Herbert, that's another story. I really like his talent. He's a super smart guy. The only sticky wicket there, guys, is I think the synapse from his brain to his hand, when you see it, you got to hit it right away. And there's some disconnect there a little bit. Now, off the field, this guy's brilliant. He's a super smart guy, all that. But on the football field, you just wonder if, he holds that ball then a little long, and then before he hits it, whereas, guys like a Baker Mayfield or Drew Brees, and I'm not putting those guys in the same class or anything, but, boy, they see it, bam, it's out, At least it was before Cleveland got a hold of Baker. But anyway, so I think that's the, I think that's something that, here's a guy that's really going to work hard to be a super good quarterback. But if you don't have that synapse and, and he's not a grab you by the face mask guy either, say, hey, we got to do, but you don't have to be. He's intense for the game, but he doesn't necessarily real intense and jumps all over his teammates, which is okay too.
Okay, so again, sounds to me like you're in my camp that at number 5, really I would stay away from all three, Tua, Herbert, and Love. You're better off getting a great position player that's going to be available, like an offensive lineman or a pass rusher or something along those lines, or a shutdown corner or something at that spot. You think the Dolphins are better going with a position player than any of those three quarterbacks at 5?
Well, there's going to be arguments for all of that, but if there's, this is doubtful that this would happen, but what if Chase Young is sitting there, and falls to you, you know what I mean? And it could happen. I don't know if you guys remember, but a few years ago, and he's not the same caliber of player, but was really a good player, but Jonathan Allen, remember him out of Alabama. He's tremendous. He fell all the way to 11. You know what I mean? To the Redskins, and he was a top 5 guy. So he wasn't that big time pass rusher. Well, he was from the inside, not the outside like Chase. Chase Young, the minute he walked on the field, is one of the top 5 pass rushers in the National Football League. He's that good. So you maybe take the best position guy there, and maybe go after one of the free agent quarterbacks that may be available out there. We'll see here who's going to get signed and all that, but that may be another choice. But you know how people are; they'll go crazy for quarterbacks, and that's no different sometimes on a team, because you got to be disciplined, really disciplined when you make a choice. Say, hey, well, if somebody over, Chris Greer says, hey, Tua's past physical, we think he can do it, or we think Herbert, he's got a chance to be a good one. We'll just have to see what happens.
All right, Dan Shonka, of course, from Our Lads, joining us. You can follow him on Twitter at OurLads_Shonka. Now, Dan, give me a quarterback that you do like that might be a project after these guys that we talked about. After Herbert, Love, Tua, and Burrow are gone, is there a guy in that next tier that you like out there that you say, okay, this guy's a project, he's not perfect, but I think he's got all the tools, and maybe you can, make that coal into a diamond? Who is it? I think that a guy that, not many folks are as high on him as I am, and I'm not sure about in the draft room, but, I think Jalen Hurts is a guy that, he improved a lot at Oklahoma this year. His accuracy was pretty much spot on. For most of the year, he was hitting 70, 75%. And nowadays, the quarterback's got to be mobile. So he pulled the ball down, and he can certainly run with it. He looks like a running back after he gets the ball down. And he can get, the short passes now are like your 3 and 4 yards runs. Well, he can get you those 3 and 4 yard runs, scrambling, and he can also hit that short pass. So, he's a smart guy. I think there's a lot of positives there. And with the way the 4 wides are now, people always talk about the quarterback's got to be throwing through that tight window. And that's true. In the NFL, you're, obviously going against the best defensive backs in the world. They break on the ball quick. You can't make too many mistakes. They're going to make you pay for it. But Hurts is a guy that, he can move around in the pocket. He can step up. He can throw the ball. And he can see what happens down the field. And I think he'll have bigger windows with your 4 wideouts, like you do in college.
where you don't always have to be a pinpoint passer. And the other thing is he's durable. Now, another thing I'll throw out there, a few years ago, people thought I was crazy when I had Dak Prescott, as I had him go in the second round. And, and I tell you, there's some quote scouting things out there, well known, that had him as a free agent, and I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is Dak Prescott, because I thought there was really something special about Dak. His strength, like I said, he looks like a running back, he's a big, strong guy, and he's improved every year. But I think that might be there with Jalen, and he can be had probably in that second round. And I think he's a guy that certainly, you could work with.
Anybody else intrigue you at that quarterback spot?
Well, that early, I don't know.
I'll give you an example. I went to the East-West Shrine like I do every year. I fell in love with Kevin Davidson from Princeton. I would love the Dolphins to draft him late. I think he's a fantastic project. He's got a gun for an arm. He's super smart, got moxie, can move around a little bit and everything. You probably fail like you do with most quarterbacks, but I found him intriguing enough that I say that is a late round pick, a 5th through 7th rounder. That might be a nice little interesting project. Anybody like that catch your eye?
You did do your homework, because I like Davidson also, and being at the East-West, I saw him up close and personal, and you described him perfectly, because he does have a strong arm. He was a very smart guy that took charge of the huddle. He was very impressive there, and he's a 6'4", 200, but he's definitely a developmental guy that he's got a lot of tools. And I would vote in your camp for him, too, being that 5th-round guy. I thought that he certainly all week did some really nice things, and, he can throw into some tight windows, and he's got confidence in his ability. He hit, about 70% of the passes, but, his face at the Ivy League, isn't the SEC. But that being said, all things are relative. He might have done really well in the SEC, dropping back and throwing with, that speed of the game, because he does have that synapse from his brain to his hand, get the ball out. So, I think I would vote for Kevin Davidson from Princeton also. Really a good developmental quarterback.
All right, I'll give you 2 more that I find intriguing. Anthony Gordon from Washington State and Nate Stanley from Iowa. Nobody's talking about him, and he's another guy that I kind of like. He's got a lot of the tools, little raw, but again, later round pick, 3rd-day guy. Why not take a chance? You got 14 draft picks. If you're not going to take him early at number 5, then later on in the draft, experiment with one of these guys. Tell me what you think about Stanley or Anthony Gordon. What'd you think of those guys?
Yeah, I think that if I had my choice of the two, I'd probably take Gordon, and I probably know more about Stanley, because our main offices are in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, which are about 25 miles from Iowa City, and we, sometimes when you know so much about a guy, it can be, you see all the little holes in them, and Stanley is a real smart guy. He's kind of actually like, personality-wise, he's a lot like Justin Herbert. He's kind of that low-key guy that he'll go out and kind of do his job. And I think Gordon is a guy that could be ascending. And those guys throw so many passes. We saw what Minshew did last year. Minshew looked like absolute hot garbage at the Senior Bowl last year. He was awful.
Yeah.
He hit 2 of 9 passes in the game. I'm wondering, what the heck? This guy, what's he even doing here? Well, now Gordon, he ended up in the Senior Bowl doing really well, throwing 2 touchdown passes late and led him to another score that helped him win the game. But he's been only a 1-year starter, but there's some moxie there, and I think that there's a little grit. So he would be another guy that I would certainly consider bringing in that middle round area, because he's thrown so many passes, he's seen so many things, so many different defensive coverages, that he throws the ball real accurately. So I think that to me, guys, you've got to be. First of all, you got to throw accurate passes. You got to be able to process that information, and and if you can't do that, you're really going to struggle on the NFL field. I mean, you can be big, strong, and all that other stuff, but if you can't process information and you're not accurate, you're going to sit on the bench probably your whole career. So, but Gordon's accurate now. Stanley, if you look at some film, if you're a highlight film guy, you can throw on games where, this guy looks absolutely like a, second-round draft choice. I mean, he'll fire rockets and against Ohio State, he fired touchdown pass a couple of years ago. But he is, if you look up Streaky or Google Streaky, that's him. You know what I mean? That guy is, he's all over the place. So, I would, Gordon would be my guy there. And Davidson, I like your take there.
All right, good stuff. Dan Shonka joining us, does an excellent job of covering the NFL, former NFL scout. You can follow him on Twitter at OurLads_Shonka and go to Our Lads NFL Scouting. Check out the website. Okay, so as you know, Dan, the Dolphins have 7,000 picks, but one of their picks is at number 18. That's their second one. Let's have a little fun, you and I. I think they might go for a lineman with that top pick, whether it's Wirfs or Brown or any of those guys, some of the top linemen that are going to go early on. If they go with a lineman early on, an offensive lineman, okay? I think I meant Thomas from Georgia, but I think Wirfs or something like that. Okay, so they got their lineman at 5. At 18, they might be looking for pass rusher. And they run a lot of 3-4, so it's either a D lineman or an outside linebacker or a shutdown corner. Where would you go at 18? Who's the value at that point for you?
Well, I think, like you said, those top tackles will probably be all gone.
Right.
I think Wirfs is going to be gone. I think Thomas is going to be gone. I think
Willis
is going to be gone. I think all those guys, those top 4 guys, who I think are all going to be gone. Okay, by 18. I'd be really surprised. Becton, after he ran the 5.1 at 364 pounds or whatever, he'll probably end up going to the Jets. And Cleveland needs a tackle. They'll take maybe Thomas. Worse, I think I got him penciled into the Giants, in fact. So I think that all those tackles. Well, I got Wills going to Tampa Bay right now at 14, but I think all those guys are going to disappear by 18. But the good news is, I think that there's some guys there that would fit your bill, and I think the Chasen kid out of LSU, the outside rusher, if Atlanta doesn't scoop him up, I think he could possibly be there, at 18 if you want to go that route. But, it's such a need for an offensive lineman. Now, there's a guy that's a really good athlete, and part of his film this year was a little bit shaky because he had a bone marrow transplant, and he donated bone marrow to his sister, Austin Jackson, from Southern Cal. Now, he's really a good player, but he obviously was a little weak at the start of the season, but he got better as the season went on. He had a battle with Penza from Iowa in their bowl game and didn't win, all those. But, here's a guy that's 6'6", about 200 or 311 or 12 pounds, and really good feet, really athletic, with long arms, and he can pass protect. And he's an ascending guy. He's a young player too, and he's going to really be a good football player. So, he's a guy that's possible there at 18, and if not, I think 26, would certainly be in the mix. Henderson, I think, from Florida is going to be there as a corner, if the Dolphins go that route. Mm-hmm. So I think there's your linebacker, your corner, and your offensive lineman, I think that will all be there.
All right. So second round, I think they might fill that need at running back at 39th and 56th. Who are the running backs that will be in that area, and you love the value at that point?
Well, it all depends. I think they could possibly get one of those top 3, running backs. It just depends. I think maybe only one, if any of those 3 may go in the first round or none. We actually got Dobbins penciled in. He's our top guy to Tennessee at 29. But, obviously they got Henry there, but if they have problems with Henry or what have you with contracts, they might go running back there. But I think that those three running backs, the top guys, with Swift out of Georgia, and then Taylor. I think Taylor would probably have the best bet at being there in the second round for him. Now he burned up the combine. Everybody knows he's got great speed. He has a fumbling issue. He's fumbled a few times. He's also rushed for 2,000 yards 2 years in a row. And if he gets the scene, he is gone. I mean, it's simple as that. He's a downhill, one-cut, zone runner and he's got great cutback vision. So I think that Taylor could possibly be there for the Dolphins in the second round. Swift would be a little stretch. He may go a little earlier in the second. Or Dobbins. But I think any of those three could possibly be there.
Dan Shonka does an excellent job of covering the NFL draft for many, many years. Former NFL scout. Check out the website, Our Lads, NFL Scouting, and also, of course, follow him on Twitter at OurLads_Shonka. Dan, tell them what you guys are doing to prepare folks for the draft on the website.
Well, we're our draft guide. We're after the combine here. We start really cranking it up so we get that verified information on all those underclassmen that came out and everything. But fans can go to our website at OurLads.com, and hey, if they got a mock draft, they could post it, and we'll also give them $500 if they got the best mock draft. That after the real draft happens, see how they set it up. But we've done that for about 7 or 8 years, and we've had about 1,000 people get in on it, and pick up $500 and have a lot of fun. But also, we've got all the depth charts for all the NFL teams there. We all free agency. We got free agency tracker, all that stuff with free agency coming up, and then we got the college depth charts, which you can see our grades on the players presently by color code on the college depth chart. So there's a lot of things to do at OurLads.com.
There you go. Dan, as always, thank you for the information, my brother. Always enjoy having you on.
We really appreciate it, Big O. Thanks, guys.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go. Dan Shonka, man. Good stuff as always. We get to talk a little NFL draft, get his thoughts on some of these guys here. And so good stuff with Dan. I love it. All right. And I asked him about the running backs because I think Miami will take a running back, but I think it'll be in that second round, maybe even third. But I don't think it'll be in that first round because in that first round, I think they can get such impactful players on the lines. They could get a shutdown corner, or maybe at least a really good corner, something along those lines. If they want to go, they could go double on the offensive line. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, Dan was talking about it, very interesting, the USC offensive lineman at number 18. Because the top 4 guys are gone at that point. So now the USC kid is going to go somewhere in that second half of that first round. That's why I asked, because I expect the top lineman to be gone by 18. That's why I tell you that if you're not taking Tua at 5, I'm taking Tristan Wirfs. That's my pick at number 5. I like his guy too, Simmons, at number 5. I have no problem with that, but because you can find backers, not like that guy, but because you can find backers normally, again, not as versatile as Simmons. This guy's a freak. I would wait a little bit more. It's hard to find those franchise tackles. And when you can get one, and I like Wirfs because he's super young, so he's a year and a half younger than your average draft pick. So you're going to have him a little longer. You know what I mean? All those kind of things, barring injury, of course. Jake Longish. That we had Jake Long here, and Jake Long would have retired, and we would have put his name in the damn Ring of Honor. But the poor man ended up, suffering all kinds of injuries, which still bothers me, man, because he's such a good dude, bro. Such a good dude, man. So unfair life is sometimes. But I think that you've got at 5. That's why I've told you guys some of you guys, you want to trade out at times, and they've done a lot of trading already. They've got a lot of picks. At 5, you're going to get a gold standard player in the draft. And so that's why I would not move out of there. The 18th one, I probably will hang on to that one. The one I tell you that you could trade out of is the 26th. Why do I tell you that? Because on the 26th, if you drop out of there and go to the early part of the second round, you're going to get the same exact player at 26 that you'll get at 32, 35, 37. Same player, same talents available in that area. And that's why if you're smart, that might be the pick that you trade out of, get an extra pick next year, those kind of things. And then you pick early second, and you get whatever you were going to get at 26. You're going to fill the same kind of need, same kind of player. And remember, this is such a loaded wide receiver draft. Be surprised if they take a wide receiver here. You know? And don't be surprised if they get one that has return skills at the same time. So look at those receivers and check the ones that also have return skills. Those are the guys that could become part of the picture in that latter part of the first round into the second and early third. Because I think that's where you'll see, if they take a receiver, I think you'll see them go there. Because once you start getting into the latter part of the third, you're going to start running out of those receivers. That's how many there are that they're going to go well into the third. Maybe even some will drift into the fourth. But, you know, Bill was able to be with me at two of the trips to the East-West and the Senior. And obviously the Senior, you're going to have your players because it's the Senior Bowl. But the East-West was loaded with wide receivers too. This is a wide receiver draft. And if you're Miami, it behooves you to take one because you're going to get a value guy in the second and third rounds that should have gone 15, 20 picks earlier in a normal draft. So it's a guy you're getting a round later, so you're basically getting a draft pick, you know, with a bonus, in other words. You're drafting a second rounder in the third. You're drafting a first rounder in the second. That kind of stuff. That's exactly what you're doing in this draft with wide receivers. It's pretty cool. Let's see. I would love to take Becton at 5. I'm really impressed with Becton. Even before the Combine, watched this tape against Notre Dame. I'm a USC fan, but I'm not impressed with Jackson because of his run blocking. And let me tell you something. USC linemen, I don't know, there's something about those guys that has a little bit of a finesse label to it too much. Cheyenne says Jones at Houston is a LT we could use in the second maybe. Go Gators. If Miami wants a running back, get LaMichael Pirine. Pirine's going to go in that second to third round, and he's going to be a steal for somebody. I like him too. I'm with you. I like him a lot. I like Pirine. Second, third round, no problem taking Pirine. Cheyenne says, I'm a Taylor guy running back. I don't blame you. But the Taylor guy is the guy at 26. You drop down to 30, 32, 34, and you hope Taylor's still there and you take him. Because you either take him at 26 or you take him later on because he's going to be somewhere in that area. So, yeah, that's a good call. And that's the kind of player that I'm telling you that you might drop out of 26 and go into the early part of the second round, and he's still there. I think Swift will go before him because I like Swift more as an all-around running back than Taylor. But I like Taylor, too. Taylor looks to me like he's going to be a player. Flipside Fishing says, we need to find an O.J. McDuffie, Jarvis Landry slot somewhere in the draft. Who do you like, O? Well, Flipside Fishing, you had me with O.J. McDuffie, and then you lost me with Jarvis Landry. Okay? I'll take O.J. McDuffie, who is as tough as they get. Landry is too. But I'll take O.J. McDuffie, who's a lot smarter than Jarvis Landry, who's a team player more than Jarvis Landry, who isn't a punk, unlike Jarvis Landry, who doesn't run his mouth, unlike Jarvis Landry. So I'm kind of telling you, I don't want Jarvis Landry on my team. I saw him here already for 4 years. You can have him. Okay?
He's just trying to enhance his social media status.
People love, I get it, that they love and fall in love with his effort because he plays so hard and runs through walls. But he does a whole bunch of other stupid things along the way. I can do without it. Give me O.J. McDuffie. That's the ultimate team player. He brings it. He's got balls that don't fit in this damn building. He's got hands that are just absolutely like crazy glue.
And he could return kicks?
Yeah, well, early in his career. Okay. Early in his career. As he got a little older, they took him out of that because he wasn't really a burner. But yeah, he was shifty enough that he helped out early on because that's how Shula, Shula's old school. He was going to break you in and then put you through special teams, and you got to prove yourself and then get out of it. Jimmy would do the same thing. A lot of old school coaches used to do that a lot. But yeah, you had me at OJ. You lost me at Jarvis. That's all. It's the way I like it. I'm the kind of guy that I just think OJ's the type of player that, he's just impeccable. Impeccable. One of my favorite players of all time with the Miami Dolphins. I love those kind of leaders, winners. It's a shame that whole toe injury. All right, we thank Dan Shonka for joining us as always. Bill, John, excellent work by them. We thank all of you for tuning in. We'll be back. We take a 2-hour break, and then we go over to Hialeah Park. We'll be on at 1 o'clock. I am headed over to Caneswear. I'll be there in about 20 minutes to get my Inter Miami jersey. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. All right, anyway, we'll see you guys in a couple of hours live from Hialeah Park. We'll have guests. We'll have all kinds of talk. And we'll see you. And we thank, of course, Larry Schlossberg and all the great people out here at Craig's Inn. Be good out there.